Alright, everybody, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. So there's make sure you check in before we get started. So go ahead and just check in right away. So just some announcements. So already next Monday is a holiday, right? We have another holiday coming up. Yay! And then next Wednesday is our midterm. So what does that mean for our class? So today and Wednesday will be the last topics of JavaScript. That's the end of the midterm material for the first half, this first midterm. So this is all the front end stuff we've been doing, right? So today we're talking about, we're taking a step back. We're actually going to talk about some stuff I didn't get to talk about on Monday, last Monday, because I was not here. So we're going to talk about regular expressions and some miscellaneous stuff. And then on Wednesday, we're going to talk about jQuery. jQuery is a JavaScript library. Actually, we're going to be talking about JavaScript libraries in general, and then we're going to look in depth into jQuery. And that's the end of the material for at least the first midterm. We do have a lab this week. We also have an assignment on Sunday. The assignment is a jQuery assignment, and it's a pretty fun one as well. So I'm not going to assign it to Wednesday because right now if you look at it, you're going to be like, what is this? So, but there's a lab tied to today's material, and then we'll have, there's an assignment due Sunday, and then that's it. So, you know, this week is a good time to start kind of reviewing your other material for the midterm, like review your HTML, CSS. The assignment is going to have some HTML, CSS in there as well. So I think the assignment is a good overall kind of review anyway. If you get the assignment done by Sunday, and then you start studying on Monday or something, or Tuesday, that's, you know, I think it'll work out. Or actually even better, start studying early, right? Of course, but you know that doesn't ever happen. So yeah, so that's kind of our schedule. So again, this week we have class Monday, class Wednesday, lab to do tomorrow, assignment due Sunday, and then an exam on Wednesday, and then you're done. You're like, yay, you're gone for the weekend. And then there's not gonna be any assignment next week, obviously, because you took the exam. And then when you come back that last week of February, we're gonna switch over to the back end, and we're going to do back end stuff. We're gonna work with databases. We're gonna work with PHP. So we're gonna kind of have a bit of a mind shift when we come back after the term. So pretty clear, right? So just a little bit more to cover today and Wednesday, and then you have a pretty good fundamentals in front end development. Yes. I'll bring out some practice questions on Wednesday. Yeah, I'll talk a little more in more detail. The exam, I do have some information. Actually, let me go on over. Oh, so under today's lecture notes, there's also midterm information. So let me go over that briefly. On Wednesday, I'll do maybe like just show you some practice questions or some sample questions from the past. But this is like the general information. So it's on Wednesday. It's a 90-minute exam. In this classroom, same classroom. Oh, not the no. That was last semester's classroom. This classroom, KDC 236. You should fix that right away. So again, Wednesday is the last topic. It is purely written. It's a purely written exam. You don't need it to code on your computer or anything like that. So you don't need to bring your laptop, or if you do, you have to put it in your backpack. And we're going to not ever open any kind of electronic device, purely paper exam. However, you can use one reference sheet. There's a lot of like syntax things, a lot of things that you don't necessarily need to memorize. Even with HTML alone, you have there's like tags, right? And there's a bunch of CSS properties, as well as a bunch of jQuery methods that I don't expect you to memorize, but I do expect you to know how to use them. So in your reference sheet, it's more about like writing stuff down, like, oh, query selector, right? Query selector, what does it do? What are the parameters? What is the return? Right? Index of, like test, any methods that we might have come out. It's probably a good idea right on your reference sheet. So again, reference sheet is just that. It's for your reference. And the exam is really testing you on, do you know how to use these methods? Do you remember what these methods or these CSS properties, or do you remember what these tags do? Do you remember how to, make boxes? Do you know how to do floating stuff? That's what it's going to test you on. So, and it must be, I should bold this, it must be written in your own hand. It cannot be typed. There's a good reason for this. There's actually a lot of good research coming out in education these days, and how students retain information, yada yada. One of them is how if you write actual written notes, students tend to retain more information better if they're written. So this is kind of this reference sheet also kind of forces you to study as well, because when you're writing your reference sheet, you're automatically kind of reviewing your past material anyway. So I think this is like a good thing. It's good for your review and good to obviously have on your exam. So it can be 8.5, so typical 8.5 by 11, right? So front and back is fine. Again, I want to emphasize that it should be written, not typed. If you bring in any kind of typed notes, I will ask you to give it to me, and you won't have any reference sheet. Okay, so I do want to emphasize that, and do not, if you can write as small as you want, of course, and all that stuff. So, but you cannot bring a paper bigger than 8.5 by 11 either, or else I will take that away. So it has to be 8.5 by 11, forwards and backwards is fine. One sheet. Okay, one sheet. You don't need to worry about, like, I'm not gonna ask like questions like, oh, how do you get the latest movies from the Movie DB API or anything like that. I'm not gonna ask that specific. You don't need to like know how the iTunes API works or anything like that. Any kind of API stuff, if there's a question about it, it'll be given to you on the exam, or they'll give you like some documentation on the exam. So you don't need to like memorize that. Okay, some common questions like, how do I study for this exam? So anything that we've talked about in class, and whether in slides or whether in code, is pretty much fair game. I think if I was a student in my class, I would really review all the code that we wrote together in class, and I would make sure to go by line and understand what each line is doing. That's probably the best way to do it. If I wanted to go even further, I would try to even just kind of rewrite code and try to. I would actually open up the lecture code and I have my code, and I would just type. Even if I'm just typing the same thing over and over again, I would just practice typing it out just to try to remember what each line did. I think that's the best way to study for this game. My slides, honestly, there's some good material on the slides. Not always. A lot of my slides are like talking points. They're not necessarily like it's not meant to be a textbook. I know like some classes. I remember when I took a bio class here, like the slides are pretty much like my textbook. But my slides aren't like that. They're more talking points. So you may find them helpful just to kind of organize your thoughts, but really the juicy stuff is in the code. Because it's all about we're very practical here, right? So it's all about the code. And yeah, that's any general questions about the midterm or anything like that for now. All right, if you have any questions, again, we'll talk a little bit more on Wednesday. I'll bring you some sample stuff. Purely written, you will be expected to write a little bit of code. You don't need to write like pages of it. It's like snippets of code. I might say like create a div with the background color pink and make it with give it a padding or give it some spacing or something like that, and then you have to write like a little bit of code for that. Oh, and then make it clickable or something, right? But it's not gonna be like write a whole assignment on a piece of paper, nothing like that. So alrighty. Any questions?
How much does it count for?
20 something, 20%. It's a good question for the syllabus. I don't remember sometimes either. 25. Okay, so there's 2 exams, so this will be half, like 12.5%. Or not 12.5, 17.5. Yeah. No, 12.5 is right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I want to fix this because this is yeah. Same. Okay. All right, last call for attendance. Make sure you get that in. Don't forget. You have a couple minutes left to do that. It's always also going to be on the whiteboard. Alrighty, then let's get started. So today, again, we're going to be talking about something called regular expressions. Let's open up today's lecture notes. Okay, if you can please download that little Dropbox link for me. It's too warm here. All right, I'm gonna download this. Okay, my ITP 303 folder. I have my lecture 9, and I'm going to save that in there. Okay, there it is. Or not, there it is. There's it is. Okay, just one. Oh, okay. I'm not sure why. Just okay. Anyway, it's gonna be this one, regex.html. I'm gonna go and put it in a folder. I'm not sure why it didn't come with a folder, but okay. I'm gonna just move that over there. Anyway, so it's one file here. It's gonna open up in a Sublime. I'm gonna just drag it open, and then if I do open in browser, I will see it here. It's gonna look something like this. Right, we're gonna do some more fun stuff with strings. And we're going to talk about regular, when we're talking about strings, we got to talk about regular expressions. Okay, so we're taking a step back. I know on Wednesday we got to talk about objects, the JSON, we messed around with APIs, and the APIs gave us JSON. We converted JSON into JavaScript objects, and we were able to do really cool stuff. However, we're going to take a step back just a little bit, just because think about the week before that where we talked about strings and like just primitive data types. We do have to cover one more piece of that, just because, again, with JavaScript, a lot of the times, one of the most common things people use JavaScript for is to do the validation. We've talked about that already, like the front end to client side validation. It's not, to be honest, it's not always the most funnest part of front end development. I gotta tell you that, but it is a very crucial part. And if you get really good at this, it will make your life easier, because no matter what you do, if you're doing any kind of front end development related, whether you're a full stack developer or a front end developer or whatever you are, knowing how to do some validation stuff will make your life a lot easier. So we're gonna cover some of these cases, like how do we validate, like phone. It's a little bit more complicated things, right? Like how do we? You've seen these probably before too, like phone, making sure the phone when people put in their phone number, make sure it's a valid number, like a valid number, right? Make sure they put in the area code and all that stuff. Same with things email, right? How to do email validation. Those get to be a little bit more trickier. Right? It's not as simple as, oh, index of or find the length. It's not as easy as that. It's a little bit more, there's a little bit more to it. So we're going to do some more validation. We're going to play more around with some strings. Username, right? There's like, we have to work with validation, so might as well, let's just get good at it. And then, so we're going to talk about, when we're talking about validation, we can't not talk about regular expression, so we will talk about that today as well. All right, so let's go ahead and let me go ahead and open this up here. Just a couple slides here, not couple, but okay. So back again, kind of thinking back to our strings, our primitive data types, our strings. We've talked about this already, but I wanted to show you this just because it's been a while. When we create a string, like when we create a variable and we store a string in it, it looks something like that, right? It's actually, strings are kind of treated as an array of characters. We've talked about that before. How hello world, so index 0 is H, so on and so forth. It's an array of characters. And there's some methods, we haven't talked about all of them yet, but there are some methods that help us work with strings. We can easily replace pieces of string with a method called replace. And what's nice about it is there's also a phone number. It replaces maybe you have a string you have. There's another one when it comes to again 0 to 4. So some more methods, string methods as well. This kind of stuff. Do that. Like our email regular, it's complicated. Like, oh my god. Let's try that out when you wanna. So if I find okay, sensitive 3 regular. So instead of saying CA, we can look for more refers like brackets, quantity. Some of these will positions. Why don't we go ahead and try that out real quick? Okay, let me go ahead and open this. Here, I will leave this here. Oh no. Actually, I'm gonna need you just because I want to reference my slides. These are actually when my slides are actually useful here. Okay, I'm gonna look at these. All right, I'm gonna open Sublime real quick. You don't have to copy this with me. You can just watch because this is not code or anything like that. Okay, I have this piece of code, right? And again, I want to do some searching. Let's say I want to like I want to search through this text, but I'm too tired to read all of it, so I want to just do a quick search, right? So then you do like what, Command F or Control F or something, right? Let me try to see if I can bring this up here a little bit more. Come on. Okay, let's say I want to search for something. If I want to search for, right, university, right, there it is, my university. There's two universities. There's that one. There's two cases, right? What if I want to do like you know, like lowercase university, right? I think it's case, oh, sorry, it's by default case sensitive, so on and so forth. Or you've done this plenty of times in your life. Even with Sublime, we actually, if you look at here, you see how it says, can you tell, like this little star dot thing? That's actually a symbol for, actually a wildcard symbol, but at the same time, it's also regular, it's a symbol denoting regular expressions. If I click on this, now I can search things, okay, using regular expression. Notice how right away it's already case insensitive. That's kind of nice. Okay. All right. Anyway, so now using regular expressions, using these weird patterns, I'm going to do some searches here. All right. So let's look at this here. Let's say in my text here, I want to look for I want to look specifically for in this text for two numbers like this, like 53. There's a lot of numbers here, right? 1880, like 3,800, 41,000. But I don't want to. I want to look for specifically some digits. All right. So if I do something like this, is /d. Okay. Notice how I'm getting all the numbers showing up. It's finding all my numbers here. Okay. It's very good at it. Look how easily it found all my numbers for me. Okay. Cool. So that means that's literally saying look for one digit, anywhere from 0 to 9. If I do two of them, it's gonna notice how it does 2 at a time now. Okay. Cool. Right? If I do 3 of them, it's gonna look for everything that matches my little regular expression here. Again, these are coming from this. Same. So that's D. Okay, that's digits. There's also words. Like if I'm looking for a specific. Oh my gosh. If I'm looking for a specific letters, like 3 letters at a time. Okay, right now we're getting all these results. Okay. Obviously, we need to kind of refine it a little bit, right? We need to say, hey, like exactly 3 words or exactly 3 letters or something. But you get the idea here, though, right? I just wanted for you to get the idea. Okay. You know, now I'm curious. I didn't try this. I wonder if okay, like browsers don't have regular expression. I think. Oh, it did. Oh no, that's. All right. Anyway, Sublime just allows you to search with regular expressions. So if you ever need that for whatever reason, just know that's there. You can do white spaces. That /s means white spaces. Or you could also do period. Just means any single character. Okay, doesn't really. Okay. You could do the opposite as well. If you do like /d, capital. Oh, I didn't put that in my notes here. But so /d normal means find digits. If you do any meta characters, if you do like an uppercase, it means not. So not a digit. So all these, that's where all these are coming up here. So if I do /w, or /w, now it's like not a word. So that's possible as well. All right, cool. That's useful. But like, okay, let's do a few more. You can also do things like in a bracket using square brackets. You can say, look something like this, like ABC. So any characters that match anything in here, ABC, any A or B or C, the letter B or C is going to show up. Okay, you could do the not as well with the little, when you're in the bracket. Yes.
So this is case insensitive in that case?
Yes, it looks like it's case insensitive, yes. Yep. You could also do, you could actually do like A to Z to say like anything in between A to Z, or like F to Z, or like I to Z. Yeah. Okay, so brackets kind of give you ranges, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, A or B or C, yes. Yes.
Like, is it the range of
like ASCII values. So you do like lower A to capital Z, we do like the whole alphabet. So,
Yeah.
Oh my.
Although I remember there being a difference between this and this, though. Also, so we're doing regular expression with Sublime right now just to give you a taste. But when we start doing it in JavaScript sometimes have like exceptional, like different rules. So you just want to double check. Yeah. Because I think I think in JavaScript, A to Z versus lowercase a to Z is different. I think Sublime just is automatically case insensitive. Oh wait, oh yeah, so if I turn on case sensitive, yeah, it's like a setting. So I'm not sure what the default is. I think default is case sensitive. I could be wrong. Okay. You could also, like I said, you could do digits. There's also another slight other way you could write things. So you could, this A, you could do like A or B or C, right? But if there's also a slightly other way to write it. You can do like this little pipe also does this or that as well. So if I do like A or B, or if I do, I think even type words like when or world, you know, when or world as well. So this little pipe is a little bit different. This is saying search for this pattern or this pattern. Okay, so there's
what is that equivalent to? You just said it's the same as another.
Oh, it's very similar to, actually it's not exactly the same. It's similar, but not really, actually. I shouldn't say that. Like this is saying, this when you do square brackets, you say look for A or B or C, right? Versus in here, you could do kind of similar thing. Like if you want to do like look for A or B or C, you can do it, write it like that as well. Yeah. But we're going to use this later down. The pipe is kind of, actually it's more for like looking for two different kind of patterns. Like color. Oh, this is a huge one. Okay, so in American English, we write color, but in other parts of the world, they all use this other spelling. So you don't want to accidentally say, oh, you know, you spelled this wrong just because we live in America, or we read and write the U.S. English, right? So then this alternation is kind of important when you're checking, like, oh, make sure we're covering like both cases or something. Yeah. Okay, all right, that's cool. But now we got to we got to add some limits around here, though, right? Like, oh, actually, okay. Man, I keep going. I like to go ahead of myself. Before we hit that part, quantifiers. There's other like these weird symbols as well. These quantifiers that can also give us a more refinement here. We could even say, oh, maybe like how many times does it occur? So if I do let's say I'm looking for a 2-digit number, right? I could do that. Okay. Or I'm looking for a 4-digit number. I can write 4 like these. But that can get kind of annoying really fast. So we could actually do something like this instead. If I use these curly brackets and I do like 2, for example, it means look for, it's essentially the same as look for 2 of these. Okay, look for 2 of these. Or you could even specify like anywhere from 0 to 2, like 0 to 4 of these. Okay, stuff like that. Or if you don't know exactly, you can say like, oh, at least 1 or more, right? 0 or more, and there's 1 or more. Right, so you could quantify, if you need to quantify like how many of these are showing up, you can also use these weird symbols as well. Okay, so it's very useful as well. Okay, finally, now the problem though, however, is okay, even if I do like this thing here, right, where I have 2 of them, this is not quite what I'm looking for though, right? This is not quite, like, yeah, these are great. I'm finding 2-digit numbers, but this is not what I want. I want like exactly 2-digit numbers, right? Not like 2 digits inside a bigger number. So we gotta be a little more specific. These position characters are very useful for that, especially this /b. It's a word boundary. So if I do something like this, if I do /b, now there you go. Now I get exactly, it's 2-digit numbers, except for that one. Oh, we gotta cover. We would need to do a slightly different case for that one, right? And then we could also, let's say if I'm looking for the word when, for example, when. Oh wait, not when. Let's look for the word a or something. There's a lot of a. Right, a lot of A, but if I want to say, I want to look specifically for the letter A that starts on a new line, we can do something like this. like that. Okay, maybe I should make it case sensitive. Anyway, right now it's case insensitive, but you see how I add that little caret? That's caret specified. I'm looking for an A that starts, like it's like a starting point, not like in the middle. So if I took that away, right now it's going to look for all the little other A's. If I put a little caret there, that's that. The dollar sign is opposite of that. So if I say, let's say world, right? Okay, I'm looking for world or something. If I specify the dollar sign, I gotta do a little more specific here. If I look for the dollar sign, there you go. It's saying, oh, this is the specifically at the end here. Okay. So these are also very useful. So these slides here, there's a lot more than this, by the way. I'm gonna go ahead and go to, this is a good time to go to a website called Regex 101. There's a lot of these. And there's a lot of really special patterns. You could always test your pattern in this website. There's a lot of these patterns out there, and there's a lot of different ways you can write things. It can get pretty hairy. Like, let me show you. I'll show you. We're gonna do like some simpler ones, but they can get pretty crazy. But just knowing some of these basics will help your life when it comes to this kind of stuff. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea behind these regex. There's like a lot of these meta characters and stuff. It takes you, it's gonna take, just as with anything else new in life, it's gonna take you a little bit time to get used to, but there's very specific rules, right? This is a digit, this is a word, right? So as long as you follow these rules, things are just gonna kind of come together. So let's try then with JavaScript. Okay, so like I said, like almost all programming languages have some kind of regex library that you can use with. JavaScript has their own as well, and I think people have been telling me that JavaScript is a little bit different than others, so just watch out for that. So if you have used regex like in C++ or something, it might be a little bit slightly different rules from JavaScript, so just watch out for that. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do then, let's go back to here. Let's try using it with actual JavaScript. What I'm going to do is, what we're going to ultimately be making is, this is a piece of text, right? I'm going to use regex to literally look for, hey, you know those any two-digit numbers, we're going to replace that into like hashtags. Okay, and obviously that was a bad, like not all the cases are being fulfilled. That was not a good search regex pattern. Or if I do like, university, we're going to replace that with like boo or something, and then, right, it's going to do that. So we're going to just use regular expression just with JavaScript just to get kind of a handle on it. Alright, so if you open regex.html from your starter file, regex.html, okay, we're going to just make this, oh wait, I shouldn't do that. Well, that's for over here. Alright, so I have a lot of stuff, a lot of HTML for you. I'm using Bootstrap again because Bootstrap just makes my life a little bit easier when it comes to making starter code and making things look nice really fast. There's our piece of text here. Notice it's in a div, and the div has an ID called sample str. So we're going to be referencing this piece of text a lot. Okay, and then we have like a bunch of rows and blah 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 blah. Oh wait, let's look for. Hold on, before I do that, let's look for string replacement. String replacement has okay. There's string replacement. There's my input here. With the ID find, that has ID find, and then this is a form called replace form. Okay, this whole form is a replace form. Okay. All right, so you see this hairy thing here? This is like an example of a really common regex pattern, but we'll come back to that. Yep, yeah, they can get really crazy. Like, what the heck? How do you even read that, right? Oh, I know this one. The caret means it starts. It's a new start, and there's a dollar sign inside. Oh, okay. And there's like, you could kind of piece these out. Like, oh, this is like a bracket, and inside there's a caret. Okay, anyway, all right. Before we get into that, let's just do some practice with this, and then we'll get into the slightly more complicated ones. All right. Okay, there's two ways to create a regular, before we even talk, get into replacing stuff. There's two ways to create regular expressions. Let's create a variable first. Let's call this like reg object for some reason. Okay, there's two ways. So two ways to create regex object. Okay. The first way, so if I do the first way, is using our lovely, this is the other slash though, the, okay, it looks like comments, but if once I start putting something in here like, okay, so anything in between these, are these forward slashes or these are backward slashes? Forward slashes.
We always go to the right.
Okay, forward slashes. Okay, so if you do forward slashes, anything in between the forward slashes is a regular expression, just by default. It's the easiest way to create a pattern. So if I start putting like stuff in here, right, like that works. Does that make sense? So let me just. Okay, so yes, I was right. So by default, actually, regular expressions are case sensitive. So if you want to make it if you want to make it case insensitive, you add these modifiers. They look something like this. I means so it comes after the slash on purpose. I means it's case sensitive. So I means case sensitive or insensitive. Sorry, insensitive. Okay, there's also G. G just means these are all modifiers. You don't have to have them. You can add these on. G means global, so it's looking for multiple times. So it doesn't stop at like if it found your pattern once, it doesn't stop there. It can keep looking for it over and over again. So with our sublime example, it was already kind of doing that, right? If I found 2 digits, it kept like it showed me all my search pattern, all my results. But by default in JavaScript, it doesn't do that. So you do need to, multiple or finds. Okay. Right. So this is like the literal way of writing it. You could also create it like this. Let's look at. I just want to show you the other way as well. You can do something like this, because you're instantiating this regex. So regular expressions, we like to call it, for sure, we call it regex, a lot of regex with a P. So we're going to create one. We could also do something like this. We can write it the constructor way, where we do like the regex pattern in here, and then the second parameter in this constructor is like the modifiers. 2 ways to write it. This is useful when you want to use variables. So, yeah. Okay, we'll look into that. Okay, so this is useful when, let's say, like you don't know, right? Like let's say we don't know if the pattern is a variable, right? If the pattern is something like this, right? If we don't know if it's some kind of variable, then it's nice to use something like that. It's nice to do that. Okay, you can't do, you can't do this. Right? So let me go and write that. Right? Constructor way. Yes.
So there's no way we can grab like the variable's value for the first way?
There's no way.
Okay.
Yeah. This is if you knew like exactly what it was. Yeah.
Which I assume doesn't really come up a lot when you're actually working.
Yeah,
so.
it doesn't. But it is useful when you want to run like some quick tests and you want to make sure your pattern is, is correct and stuff like that. But yeah, I tend to use this a lot more often. But who knows? Maybe there's a new way of writing. Maybe somebody figured something out here. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody figured how to put variables here by now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Coolio. All right. So you kind of get the idea behind how to do that, I hope. Okay. All right. Before I do the button thing, I wanted with patterns with regex, a very useful method is now we got to actually like cool. We have this pattern, but now we got to actually test it against my thing, right? So what if I had like let's call this like let search term. Okay, search term. Okay. Okay, let's look for I started using single quotes, didn't I? Okay, anyway, whatever. So let's look for like let's say I want to look for like again like our simple example like our 2-digit in this sample piece of text. I want to look for that. Like I want to see if these exist. Okay, so once I kind of have this pattern down, I gotta now actually like search against my string, right? Let's go ahead and grab my string really quickly. Let's go get my string. Okay, or let's go get my text, I guess. Okay, let's go get that thing here real quick. So that piece of string has a it's called sample str, I believe. Okay, that div was called sample str. I'm gonna go. I just want the inner HTML. I just want the inner piece of that text. Okay, and one more thing I'm gonna add here, just for my is I just want to make sure any like white space is eliminated when I grab it. Okay, let's go and log that out real quick. Okay, before I even do anything, I want to do is I want to run through this piece of text, and I want to look for this. I want to see if any of my I can if I can find this. Okay. Let me rewrite this a little bit just so. Okay, let me rewrite this a little bit just so it makes a little more sense. Okay, so I create a variable and I created some kind of pattern here, right? And then I just wait, do I need to? Sorry guys, kind of confusing myself here just a little bit. Oh yeah, I can't do that. I gotta do it like this. Oh, what am I doing? You know what? Let's not do that. Let's just keep everything in here. Sorry, forget what I said. I think let's just keep it simple. I think I am going to, yeah, okay. All right, so let's say I'm looking for this, right? This is my pattern in here. Okay, I'm looking for 2 digits, or two digits next to each other. All right, well, before I do that, I'm going to inspect. I'm going to console that out here. Let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, oh, not that one, this one, right? This is the right one. Okay. There you go. All right. Okay. So what I did right now is I just grabbed my piece of text here. I'm showing it on my console just so I can kind of look at it here. Okay. I haven't done anything yet. Okay. All right. So now that I have this pattern, I need to search through the string, right? So just to show you that, there's a lovely method. There's a couple methods that help us with regex, but here's one here's the one that we use, or I use the most. I'm gonna do search term. Okay, search term dot test. Not text, test. Okay, and what that's gonna do, so if this has to be the regex object, right? What that does is tests, returns, very simple, returns true if there's a match, if there's awesome, right? So let's go and log that out because I'm not going to be able to see that if I don't log it out. Okay. And then this is probably not the best naming of it here, but whatever. So this is an object. This is the test of the method of the regex object. So make sure you're using the regex here first. Okay. So if I do this, it's going to say, oh, it is. It says false. Okay, let me just do a quick test here. So if I type in like door, what is that word? Doors here. Oh. Oh, yes, I need to, there's one parameter in here. I need to know what am I searching against, right? Obviously, it has no idea what the heck I'm searching against, right? Okay, there you go. I got to pass in the string, dir. All right, so I got to pass in, okay, what am I searching against? That piece of text, okay? And then let's go and test it. So if I do, let's go doors again. If I see doors, there you go, it's true. There you go, doors. There's doors, there's true. So now if I type in instead some meta characters like that, I should also get, oh no. Interesting. One more time, let's see. Okay, I'm a little concerned now. What was that? Yeah, I trimmed the text, but the trim just gets rid of the like if I didn't, I mean I don't think it's gonna change anything. If I didn't trim it, is there's this extra space that comes along. Yeah. Extremely concerned why it's not, it's giving me false. Search term, dot test, text. Okay. Well, let's come back to that. I do want to show you one more though. One more regular expression here. There's also something called match. Okay, match is a little bit different. Here, let's do match. Oh, but match is not a, it's match is a string method, so it's going to be the other way around. It's going to be text.match search term. I know, a little weird. Okay, it's a string method. Okay, match is a string method. And what match will do, and it's going to return an array of all the like matches. So it's not just a simple true or false. It's going to give you an array of all the all the pieces they actually found for you. So if I do that, and then I'm going to just take my just make sure it's this one pattern. My pattern does it need to be okay? All right. Anyway, maybe it doesn't like that. Okay, anyway, so if I do match, right, going back to match, if I do, I'm looking for single digits, right, so what we're going to get is, oh, there you go, all my, oh, it's looking for, like, literally D. But, no, I'm allowed to, I'm pretty sure you can put in a string, though. Oh, okay, all right, I have to look into that real quick. Okay, so here's what I did to fix this, here's what maybe something changed. All right, so this is what I had to do instead. I had to actually make it, so can I do this? Like, okay, interesting. Oh, okay. All right, anyway, I'm not that's gonna give me some problems later. Okay, anyway, so but I do want to show you match, right? What match does is it tells you a little more information, right? It's not just true or false. It's gonna actually tell me, oh, like these are what it found. It found 53, it found 10, 18, right? Or whatever it is. It's showing me all these things here. So sometimes this is useful. Sometimes you just need a simple true or false. Is there a match? Or sometimes you actually want all the results. These are the two different ways you can do it. Just remember that match is a match is a string method, okay? Is a string method versus text is a regex method, okay? Or regex, I guess. Right? So notice that's why in this case the regex is first versus the string.
You mean dot test?
Yes. Oh yes, that text. Thank you. All right. Okay. Cool. We got some basics. Now let's go ahead and totally threw me off. Okay, let's go ahead and try. Hopefully this is gonna work. Let's go ahead and try it with an actual, like I said. So this is kind of neat. This is all good to know. Let's go ahead and try it with an actual, like, let's try to actually replace this piece of text. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, document. So when this button is pressed, when that replace button is pressed, I want to run some string replacement here. Okay. So document query selector. We're going to do replace form, right? Dot on submit. Okay. So when this form is submitted, we're gonna return false because we want to make sure things didn't go badly. Things don't actually get submitted. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and get that find, right? Literally that find. Let's go and let find equal to that. Or let's make find input. Let's call it find input so we're clear that's what the user inputted. Okay. We're gonna say, hey, go get that value. Okay. Okay, and then let's we want to, whatever the user said we should replace that with. Let's do replace input. Okay. Okay, these all have IDs, by the way. That's why I'm just typing in it for you. All right. Okay, let's go get that value. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, the old string, we still need to know what was original string. So let's go ahead and do document query selector what was a sample str, same thing, dot inner HTML, and then dot trim to make sure any like white space is gone. Okay, so we have these 3 pieces of information. Great. Okay. 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 Before we do any regex stuff, for now, let's start here. So replace, what does that replace method do? Let's talk about this replace method. So this replace method, which is also in my slides if you want to take a look later, it takes what it does is it takes 2 parameters. It takes the pattern, you know, it can, and then the we want to replace or okay, the replace. Okay, and it's going to, what's going to do is return a okay, it's going to give you back a nice string. It's going to be all replaced. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to get a new string based on my replace. So we're going to replace my old string, right? My old string. I'm going to replace you, old string, and I need to give two things. First thing, we're going to eventually replace it with whatever the user typed in here, right? Replace input. Okay. The first one's going to be let's keep it like find input for now. Okay, we're not doing regex just yet. We just want to simply replace for now. Okay. Okay, and let's go ahead and log that out real quick. So you'll see that we're going to go ahead and log out my old string and my new string. Okay, the reason I'm going to do both is because I just want to show you that the old string actually never changes. The replace is not a write method. It's not going to replace your old string. Replace is not going to replace your old string. Old string is going to be left alone. It's just going to generate a brand new string for you, right? So you don't have to worry like you accidentally overwrote the old one. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that out. Let's go to refresh, and then let's go ahead and open up my inspect here, and then there's my console here. My console, where is my console? All right, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make this run. I'm going to replace everywhere it says university. I'm going to replace that with boo. Okay, so I'm going to click on replace. All right, cool. I should see some stuff. Okay, so this is this piece of text. That's my old string. Great. Oh, and then there's my new string. When boo of Southern California, boop, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so notice notice how right now it says boo, right? And then there's another occurrence of university, but that didn't get replaced, right? Only the first occurrence got replaced. So that's a little bit of a limit behind the using replace without regex. Okay, so regex again allows us to do more refined searches, right? All right, but before I even fix that, for now, let's go ahead. I want to show this string up here. I want the string to actually get replaced. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my grab the sample string again, right? In our HTML, we're going to set that now back to my new string. Okay, so I'm going to so old string is I still remember my old string, but I'm going to replace my whatever this area here is with new string. Okay, let's see this in action. I'll come back to it. I just want to make sure it's working because things seem to be not working for me today. All right, so if I do university, and I do boo. Again, if I replace, there you go. There's my boo is replaced. Awesome. But my second one is not replaced. Okay. I'll put some comments in here as well. Maybe like, what should I say? Okay. Okay. All right. So again, so replace is cool because you can replace stuff, but again, it's there's some limits. We got to use regex. So luckily, replace can also the replace method can also take your regex. It can take regex as your first parameter. So we can do something like this. Let's go ahead. Oh, I'm gonna leave that alone. We can create a new object. So I can say what I'm gonna say is let, or actually I'll leave this alone because maybe want it for reference. All right, let's go ahead and create, okay, or instantiate a regex object here. Create, instantiate. All right, let's go ahead and let regex equal new regex. Right now I'm like worried this is not gonna work, so I want to just put find input here, okay, because that's whatever the user just typed in. Right, and then I could add some modifiers in here. Remember G means global, so it's going to search for multiple universities. So I'm going to put G in there, my multiple times. It's going to look for all my occurrences there. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. Let new string. Okay, but we're going, instead of doing find input, we're going to do our regex. Okay, maybe comment that out just in case it does anything. Okay, so essentially we're just replacing this, like this piece of string. We're gonna make it into a nice regex object and do that. Now I'm afraid like this isn't gonna work, but let's try. All right, save. All right, let's keep going. Refresh. I'm gonna type university. Notice I'm doing capital still. Okay, I'm gonna replace it with boo. Okay, boo. There you go. Now boo, it's been replaced here and here as well. All right, and then we could even make this say case sensitive, right? If I do I case sensitive. So if I typed in just university, like no, not capital, and I did blue, it should replace my. Let me just make sure I refreshed. There you go. Oh, here. Okay, so that worked, but my previous example didn't work. Okay, I don't know. Okay, here's my final test, though, I guess, then, right? Is this gonna work? That works. Oh my goodness. Okay. What? So now that I've allowed regular expressions, I could actually put in regular expressions, and I can replace that as well. All right, how's this everyone doing? Okay, kind of get the gist of it. All right, that's replace. All right, okay. Let's. I just want to get you like kind of like a kind of get your feet wet with this. Now let's try some more actual user validation stuff. Okay. So that's that. It's pretty neat. That's how a lot of replace stuff works. We're gonna skip this because I think you know how to do this by now. You just use substring. All right. Let's try this one. A slightly more simple one first. Username validation. We're gonna do username can't be empty. These are the rules. The username cannot be empty. As well as we're going to say username can't contain uppercase letters. Okay, so it needs to be all just like lowercase. It can't be like NAYON like that. That's going to be kind of our rule. Okay, all right, let's create. So this is not going to trigger until we click that validate button. So I need to create yet another event handler here. Okay, I'm going to call this one, or not call this one. It's called username form. So it's very easy to remember. Okay, return false, don't forget that one. Okay, we're going to check for that. Okay, so the rules are, right, I'm just going to write it here because, why not? It's going to be username cannot be empty, right? And then username cannot contain upper case letters. Okay, first things first, if the username cannot be empty. Okay. Right. Okay, so in the past we've done like, oh, we just do like dot length, right? Like if the length is 0 or less than 0, then it's empty. But how do we do it regex? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do this. Then I'm gonna okay. Right. So with regex, it's kind of let's think about it. Like, how do we check for if something's not there? Right. Like back to my example. Like, what do I do? Like not, right? Not D, not W, right? Like not like, right? Like it just gets. There's a couple ways you can do it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just say something like this. All right, where the end, literally, this is the beginning and the end, right? So there's nothing in between the beginning and the end. Although now I'm thinking like, what if there's spaces? Okay. All right. Anyway. Oh no, that should cover it because there's like even a space character is considered character. Okay. So I'm gonna do this test, not text. Test, right? And then we gotta grab the username first. Let's go ahead and grab it. What am I doing? Let username input. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and let that be my document dot query selector. I'm going to go ahead and grab username. Dot value. Okay, trim. We're gonna make sure we trim that out as well. Okay, so let's go a quick test. So I'm writing it this way, right? Because again, we can write it literal like that, or I can create a new reg object. Either way is fine. We're gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna look for username empty. This means username is empty. Okay. So we're doing that first test. If it's empty, we're going to, I have like an error message that we can put in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go get my okay, I have a nice div for you already. Just put we're gonna be cannot be empty. Okay, else we're gonna say okay, makes sense. Okay, let's try that out. So if it's empty, why am I having so much problems today? Okay, like username. Yeah, username. That's not a valid username. Oh crap. Oh yes. It's the same thing. Same thing. Thank you. Same issue. Yes. There. Okay. Ah, awesome. Okay, cannot be empty. Right. If I want to make it red, right? I had a class. Blah blah. Okay, cool. That's pretty straightforward. All right, let's try our other case. It cannot contain uppercase letters. Okay. So same thing here. If there's an error, we can say like cannot contain uppercase letters. Okay. All right, the regular expression pattern for here. Hopefully, it kind of gives you an idea. So if I do this, yeah, there you go. Right. If I find any characters between A to Z that are capital, right, and if I don't put the case insensitive, if I don't, as long as I don't do like I, right, what's by default it's going to be case sensitive. So if I do something like that, I do test username input. There you go. What a test, not text. .text is not even a valid method in JavaScript. Okay, so if I find any of these characters, I'm going to get mad. Okay, all right. So then if I do like nyan instead of that, I'm going to get cannot contain uppercase letters. Right, very nice to use regex for something like this. Okay. All right, let's do a slightly more interesting one. Phone numbers. Getting a little more difficult. All right, these are our rules. It can't be empty. Okay, that's given. Phone must be one of these acceptable formats. It has to be either just straight up like that, like 10 digits. It has to be, or it has to be in parentheses or like that. This is actually a very common thing to check. Because we, of course, if you're handling international numbers, that's a different case, but for a phone validation. We're assuming US phone numbers. Okay. Alrighty then, let's go and grab that as well. A lot of, I want to point out something to you. Notice how we're creating so much event handlers and all this, right? And like, you can see how JavaScript can get pretty messy really fast, and how if sometimes it feels a bit spaghetti code like because you're just putting functions everywhere. That's actually one of the reasons why a lot of these frameworks that you've heard of, like Angular or React, and all these guys came up, is because they are like, this is crazy way to write code. Let's add some more structure, some more scaffolding kind of thing. That's why a lot of JavaScript frameworks really became, or not why, but one of the many reasons, there's not the only reason, became big. All right, okay, let's go ahead and do document.query selector. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our phone number. I think I called it phone format on click. No, wrong one. This one is, what is this one called? Phone form, not format. Dot on submit, right? Same thing, function. We're going to run this function. Let's go ahead and get our phone input first. We're going to go get the phone dot value dot trim it as usual. Okay. All right, it can't be empty, so let's go ahead and kind of reuse that one. Oh, return false. Don't forget to return false, or else this isn't even gonna work at all. Okay, we're going to do phone. Okay, I just copy paste from the top here. Okay, same thing. We're going to not username error. We're going to just throw an error, or we're going to display an error, not throw an error. We're going to display an error. We're going to say cannot be empty. Let's go ahead and write our else clause real quick, like the valid one. Okay. Okay, now we get to do the fun one, the invalid. Okay, invalid. All right, phone number. Woohoo! All right, let's try this. Okay, we're just gonna put everything in here. Okay. Let's come up with this. Okay, let's start small though. Okay, first we know that, okay, there's quite a bit in here. So let's start small here. Let's say, okay, the first thing I'm going to test, right? The first thing I want to test is, I want to make sure it's a 10-digit number and it's all just numbers. Okay, all right. So that means it's like, what? It's just that D thing. D is for number. Okay, what do I do? 10 of them? That's too many. I can do D, remember curly brackets, 10. All right, I can say if there's 10 of them, great. Okay, dot test. Okay, let's start there. All right, let's start there. Okay, I'm gonna refresh. All right, so now if I have nothing, it cannot be empty, right? Okay, now I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Validate. And I am. What's going on? To refresh. Save. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So if it's false, right? Okay, yeah, right. If it's false or if it's not or something, right? Yeah. So if my test returns false, then we have an issue. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. We do validate. Save. Come on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 10. There you go. Awesome. Okay, however, this is not the end of it, right? So what if I do like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again? It's actually going to think it's still a valid number because it found 10 digits, right? No matter what, it found 10 digits. So we got to add a bit of that position stuff, position characters here. We need to say something like this and that to specify that's the end. Like from the beginning to the end, it's just 10 digits. If there's anything more than that, it's not. Okay, save. So if I do 190 and then 123, I'm going to get yay. But if I erase that, it's gonna get valid. So I do those position characters are coming in quite handy. Okay, now the next part. Okay, the next part is, what about like with the area code in parentheses? How do we deal with that? Okay, so that's like the second case. This is actually a good case for, remember that little pipe thing that we showed you as well, like it doesn't match this or this or this. Okay, so if I want to do the or, I do need to use, or actually I don't have to, but just to keep my life a little easier, I'm going to start using a bit of parentheses here. Okay, I'm going to say in parentheses, right? Okay, so either this one, right? Or, okay, or we're going to do, what about, so the pipe, or we also call this the alternation. Okay, what about the let's do this first. I think this is a little bit easier without the parentheses. So that one first. Okay, let's go ahead and do that one. Okay, this one is going to simply be okay, /d 3, right? There's 3 digits. Okay, and there's going to be a dash. The dash is literally a hyphen. Okay, /d, another 3 digits, right? And then /d, 4 digits. Oh, my $sign is way over here. It needs to be right over here. Okay, so in this parentheses, okay, I had 2 cases, 10 digits straight, or 3 digits, 3 digits, and then 4 digits. Okay, and then they're all in the parentheses. I still have my positions here. Okay, save. Let's test that one. Oh, yes, $sign at the end because we need to make sure it ends, like exactly 10 characters, it ends there. Alrighty, that's quite a, so 123 dash 123 456 dash 7890. Yay! So if I accidentally put more, I'll get invalid. Great. If I do this, I'll get invalid. But if I do 7890, it'll still be valid. Okay. Okay, we're not quite done yet. I know this is now, you see how regex can get pretty hairy, but if you know the little pieces and you put them together, you'll be fine, okay? So we got 2 cases. We do one last case is with parentheses in the area code. Okay, so we gotta do another alternation, another pipe here. All right, let me just kind of put it all together here. Oh, okay. Okay, and then what do we need? We need to do parentheses inside parentheses. That's a little weird. But so it's like this, right? Like literally like this, and then I need 3 digits in here. Okay, right? This is like set the area code, and then I need 3, and then I need 4. Holy moly! Okay, that little piece very similar to this piece here, but this one has parentheses. However, this is where it gets a little weird. We already have parentheses going on right outside because of our alternations, our little pipe here. So for that reason, we need to escape parentheses here, or else it's going to get confused. It's going to think I'm trying to alternate something else in here. So I do need to, because I want to specify this is an actual parentheses. It's not like we're not trying to signify that this is some kind of alternation or something. So I need to escape this by doing another bloop. Holy cow. Okay, so I'm escaping my parentheses, which is confusing because we use the same slash for like our digits, but there it is. Okay, my parentheses, my area code, 3 area code, dash, so on and so forth. Ooh, okay, save. I'm just double checking here. Yeah, so I have parentheses, dash, 3 digits, dash, 4 digits. Yeah. Okay. And then this parentheses is my overarching one, and then my okay, let's flip back. Let's test this out. I'll refresh. 1, 2, 3. Add a space. I didn't add a space though. All right, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Did I add a hyphen? Yeah, I don't need a hyphen there, right? And then I think I need a space, right? I wanna specify a space, so I actually need a space. Like I literally want, after the parentheses, I want a space. You know what I could also do now? I could also do like, anyway, let's start there. Okay, let's start there. Keep it simple. Okay, so parentheses space, not hyphens. Parentheses space, 3 digits hyphen 4 digits. Right? Okay, yeah, right. All right, so space, refresh. I gotta refresh this. Refresh that. Okay. Awesome. But what if I did this? Right? What if I did like, which is possible too? I'm gonna get invalid. Right? So then, hey, this is a really good case. I'm glad I thought of this. 0, there's a 0 or more occurrence, actually. Or actually, this is 0 or 1. We don't want too many spaces. That's kind of weird. 0 or 1. So we can actually do this here. Man, all these symbols. Right? So I'm saying if there's at least 1 or 0 or 1 space, that's okay. We're going to allow that. So now that's going to allow us to do something like this, where we have that, and if I do valid, there you go. It's going to think it's valid. Oops. Go. Oh, I like this. Sorry. But if there's too many, right? If I do 1, that's okay. But if there's too many, I'm gonna get a, there you go, invalid. Great. I just want 0 or 1. Fun stuff here. Fun. I just want to take a stab at email real quick. Like, we'll just do it real fast. And then we'll call it a day. Too many notes. I have too many notes. Email form. So many things. Okay, function, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right, similar thing. I'm gonna do a very similar thing here. So I'm just gonna copy that in for now. We're gonna let my email input equal to. I'm gonna go get my. Alrighty, let's talk email. Ooh, again, email is not easy because there's so many just variations you could do email, but let's do like a very basic one. Okay, so definitely, all right, like definitely there needs to be right there. Okay, definitely. So we can use W, characters. We definitely need characters, and we definitely need them. We need at least 1 or more words, right? And then we need an @ sign. Like we need some kind of like @ signs after that, right? And then some kind of words after that, right? After @ they need to have at least something here, at least 1 or more. Okay, and then like we need to make sure has a .com, it's like a .com email or like a .edu email, right? Like we need to address those as well, which is a little bit more complicated, but okay, I need a period, right? However, if you recall, period is actually means something. It's a meta character, so you can't just use period here. We're gonna have to escape it. Okay, dot. Okay, because we're talking about literal period. Okay, and then after that, how the heck do we handle dot whatever? Right, that becomes like, because nowadays a lot of people have their own companies or something, and they use like dot like at companyname.com, right? It can get pretty very hard to cover. We're going to cover very simply. We're literally going to say, okay, if you have a COM address, edu, or net, we're going to call that valid. Everything else, we're going to call it invalid. Okay, probably not the best way to resolve that. Okay, so, but for now, I think that's going to be as close as we're going to get here. Let me see if I missed anything. Okay. Oh, equals false, right? We did false. All right. Holy cow. All right, save. Save. Oh, thank you. Oh, wait. Wait, which one? Oh, yes. This is email. Hey, I think I can do... Yay, multi-line editor. Okay, if you were wondering how the heck I did that, just for your FYI, because keyboard shortcuts are awesome. If you press Command or... I don't know for Windows if it's going to be Control. Yeah, Control, okay. For Mac, it's Command. You just Command click. Oh my gosh. And then you make multiple cursors. There you go. Boom. Yay. Saved me like 2 seconds of my life. That's good. Email error, valid email. Okay, so just run that quickly. So if I put in like whatever, it's going to be valid. If I just do @ it's going to say it's invalid. Invalid .edu. Valid. Okay. Okay. Very, very simplified, right? This is probably not, this is very not good. I mean, there's other like what do people have like .io or what .info? There's a lot of blah blah blahs nowadays, so it's probably not the best one. Again, this is all the way up here. This is actually it's like 99% matches cases. You could actually tell, right? This is the @ sign here, and then there's like stuff here, right? This will allow, and notice all these alternations. Okay, so this is probably a more foolproof way of doing that. How did I come up with this? I didn't just sit there and type this out. I just Googled it. So a lot of times regex patterns I do end up Googling. I don't actually sit there and type them out myself, but it is good. You don't want to just take things copy paste all the time. You want to understand what's going on. So this at least you kind of understand. Oh, this is like starting character, right? End character, or end of the line, start of the line, end of the line. It looks like this is the @ sign here. So in the beginning, it's looking for like some not stuff. It's looking for, oh, make sure it's none of these. Like don't have like weird like parentheses, and like don't have weird punctuation marks in the beginning of your email address. Okay, and stuff. So it's covering a lot of different cases here. So this is probably the better example. So I think this I would just use that, and then maybe use like example here. But again, regex can get pretty hairy. Okay, but don't be afraid. As long as you have the basics down from my slides, you can totally do it. Let me show you that website one more time. regex101.com. Okay, regex101.com. Sometimes you have like a really crazy expression like this. It can kind of explain for you. It actually kind of tells you, oh, this is the first group, this is the alternative. It kind of tells you a lot of stuff, and you can like test your like hello at USC.edu or something, and like, oh, there you go, there's a match, right? So these regex 101 helps you visualize a little bit better on where these things are coming from if you need to take a look. So this is a very good resource as well. Okay, all right, cool. Any questions? Okay, have fun with this one. Let's see, where's your lab? So today you have a lab based on that, just to help you practice. Okay, we're going to do a password validation. I think I told you most of these. Yeah, it should be a really easy lab for you. I think we did like most of these together. But you have to use regex. You can't just use string methods or only string methods. You do this. All right, and it's going to be, the only thing that's different is it's going to validate as you type. We haven't done that event handler before, but just use on input. So instead of on submit, if you do on input, as you're typing, it's going to, your function is going to get run. So your event handler is going to get run. So you can kind of real time as you're typing, it checks for your stuff. Okay, so this here, just take a look at the sample here. I give you some starter code, so grab that. The starter code has the HTML and CSS for you. All you have to do is write the JavaScript, the regex to do that. I think it's a really easy lab because, again, we did most of this for you already. We did at least the first one together, so it should be pretty straightforward. I even give you CSS classes. So, okay, if you want to take a look at the reference sheet here, and you'll see a nice, nice bit of stuff here as well. Everything we talked about is here as well. Okay. All right, so that's it for today. Have a great one, you guys. And then on Wednesday, we'll talk about jQuery, and that is going to wrap up our front end portion of the class.